Good morning. Good morning. It is September 12th, 2025. This is Frank. I'm going to be your host today. And we have Richard and Jim and Gail present with us. We'll be doing a presentation explaining all about financing. So I want to thank you for showing up. And I'm going to start asking you guys every time to look at the video, you go to YouTube and find the YouTube video, look for the replay and like, share, and subscribe to the replay on YouTube. That will help us get the word out every single presentation that we do. I always put it on 5 or 6 different social medias. The big three, of course, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. It used to be Twitter, but I also do stumbled across and Reddit and a few others. So I like to put them out there. And the reason I do that is to gain traction. Remember, we're in a post COVID environment. A lot of people worked with us, and then a lot of people fell off during COVID um, after they heard that I had COVID. And probably most of them didn't think I was going to survive, but they didn't know how strong I was. And but anyway, we want to reach out to those people, and anything that you can do to promote Easy Financial is going to promote the company for sure, but it's also going to promote you. So be cognizant of that. When I send out the replay, make sure that you forward the replay to everybody that you can possibly forward it to, and also post it on um, your social medias. It's not enough to look at my social medias. I've got over 5,000 followers. That's a lot, but multiplied by the number of followers that everybody else has, that is a tiny number compared to what that could be. So go ahead every time we do one of these, go look for the replay and then forward the replay to everyone. Watch the replay yourself, like it, share it, and then subscribe to it and click on the bell icon. So every time we put a new one up, you won't have to look for it. It'll find you. All right. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Richard. Mr. Frost, take it away.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everybody. We have today for you two videos that we have produced, and they're kind of evolutions of what some of the things that you've seen before. As we mentioned the other day, we hope that we get better every time we do one of these videos, and I think that's the case. The two that we're showing you today are going to be two videos that you're going to probably be using a lot because they're focused primarily toward potential clients. And this is going to be good good information that you can actually share with them and to help you in the initial contact and follow up so that your people who come to you seeking information about us, about the programs we offer and so forth, you can give them some good, solid information. And in these two videos, each one is about 4 minutes. You'll be able to communicate a lot in a very consistent way and hopefully a very accurate way so that everybody's getting the same message, and you'll be able to use these hopefully in just about every contact that you have. Uh, we're still kind of proofing it, and we ask for your input and your response. And if you see a little tweak you might want to put here or there, let us know, and we'll refine this in a few days. Hopefully by about this time next week for sure. We want to make sure that all of you have copies of these two, and you can move from there. Frank, you had a question.
Yeah, that was one of the things that they talked about in the seminar, the live seminar that I went to. The room was packed. There was like only a few empty chairs in the whole room, And they went around and they were talking about all kinds of stuff. And one of the things they were talking about is you got to circulate if you expect to percolate. And they had a raise the hand kind of a thing. And they went around and they were asking questions, and you had to raise your hand. And of course, I would shout out the answers always. And so one of the things they said is, who is posting on social media? It was complete silence. I put my hand up, and they said, is Frank the only one posting on social media? Well, yeah, I was. I was the only one in a room full of professionals that was the only one who was actually posting on social media, which means, let's show you what this means to you. If I was the only one posting it, I don't know how many were there, but a lot. If I was the only one posting, that means I had no competition. If you join me and you post these things that Richard is showing you right now, and you post the videos that we produce every time we do Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you repost those or retweet them or whatever you do, you're going to be the only one doing it. So it's fantastic. And Richard is producing some fantastic work. So that's it. I'll raise my hand next time I have something to say.
Last week, we in a couple of previous episodes, we've shown you this video you're about to see. This, again, is only 4 minutes long, so bear with us. This is the who we are and what we do. This is like the initial presentation you'd make. After they see this, they get a pretty good idea of what we are. You'd give them the website, our commercial website. You go to the website, that gives them more information, more research they can do. By the time they finish that, they're going to have a pretty good idea of what we're about, what we're going to do. Let's quickly just go ahead and see this video, and we'll go to the next one.
This video is intended.
Sound coming through?
No, no sound.
All right, let me check it again. Sorry about that.
This video is intended to give you a sense of who we are and what we do. Take notes if you like, or pause or replay a portion should you need to hear something again. Our goal is to help business owners and real estate investors seeking money to grow their business. Our target market? Businesses of all kinds, literally. Retail, wholesale, industrial, real estate, franchise, service, home-based, and so much more. In fact, our business loan programs probably cover far more types of loans than you can possibly imagine. As far as real estate financing is concerned, we offer acquisition, construction, rehab, project financing, raw land development, and the list goes on. Where do we fit in? Commercial banks of all sizes will be happy to have your checking and savings account business. In fact, they will probably give you one or more credit cards. But for business loans, banks only lend money for successful businesses, never startups, and not to businesses with less than 2 years' experience and profitability. Who are you going to call when your bank turns you down and says, "Come back when you're making money"? Easy Financial represents commercial and private lenders offering alternative financing solutions. We are your bridge to creative financing solutions commercial banks simply can't touch. Banks appreciate our ability to provide viable financing solutions for their loyal customers on deals the banks just can't do. Finance companies, both large and small, depend on us because we are not a lender. We don't compete with them. We make their operations more efficient. Lenders vet and enroll us as registered brokers who can be counted on to bring them qualified candidates, dramatically reduce their cost of customer acquisition, and streamline their processing and underwriting processes. We are able to create underwriting packages that are targeted to multiple lenders, match those lenders' precise qualification and underwriting standards, and can be expedited because they are as good as anything they could produce internally. There are 5 primary stages we focus on. First, we find and qualify customers who need business financing. Second, we work diligently to clarify and define our clients' needs. Third, we work on the credit of the individuals and the businesses involved. The more we can improve and bolster their credit profile, the better the amounts, rates, and terms they will be offered. Fourth, we prepare a full underwriting package that conforms to the criteria, form, and content the lender wants to see. We use their forms and filing preferences, and we present it in precisely the same condition as they would have prepared it themselves. Fifth and finally, our relationship with the lender allows us to participate in the review and follow up on any questions that may arise to facilitate a speedy and uneventful closing and successful funding. Our clients enjoy several significant benefits. It is not uncommon for businesses to not have a clear understanding of precisely what financing product they need. So first, frequently they gain a clarity and focus on their own needs and goals. Second, with our help, we can help them improve the profiles and metrics of both credit and project structure. Third, certainly we can prepare and optimize the funding package to a specific target audience. Fourth, we can complete underwriting and presentation to target lenders far better than they could do on their own. Fifth, we coordinate and work with both the borrower and the lender in order to achieve a successful conclusion. Sixth, without a doubt, we can usually achieve better rates and terms for our clients. Finally, our clients can dramatically increase the odds for a successful funding. We do a lot for our clients, but you might be surprised to know that we don't get paid at all unless and until our clients get funded. There are no upfront fees. Whatever services we offer for credit repair and improvement, we work with vendors who we know and trust. Those fees vary and are usually paid when services are ordered. Broadly stated, we serve businesses in every type of industry and real estate investors in every market category. In summary, through our extensive list of lenders, we give our clients access to just about any commercial lending program and service they can think of. Thank you again for your time and interest. Call or email us with any questions or visit our website at ezfinancialsouthwest.com.
Well, there you have it. Many of you have already seen that, so we won't dwell on that. Frank, you had a contribution.
No, this is not good. Maybe it's me, maybe it's my ears, but I was having a difficult time hearing what she was saying because the background the background music was drowning her out. You need to crank the background music to like 1/4 of from the dot to 1/4 down the road, and you need to crank the audio from the maximum 1/4 back so that the background noise music doesn't drown her out. I had a very difficult. I have hearing problems. Everyone knows, but it was very difficult for me to hear what she was saying.
It
So,
sounded real good. I think it's got to do with the headset.
okay, all right. Well, take it with a grain of salt. But that was one of the things that we were talking about in one of the things that she said in that uh, video was that we listen to our customers because most of the time the customers don't exactly know the correct thing to ask for. Many of them will ask for the wrong loan. In the in the uh, in the boot camp that I just went to yesterday, it I guess it carries from little to gigantic properties. People ask for the wrong loan because that's one of the things that they said as well. They said, don't just go running off and trying to get what the client asked for. And many times the client asks for the wrong thing. What you need to do instead is have a sit down, quiet conversation and casual conversation, finding out what the needs, wants, and goals of the client are. And then, in our knowledge, one of the things that Richard showed on that presentation was a graph that shows all the different types of loans and then who does those types of loans. If you listen to carefully what the customer is needs, wants, and goals are, it doesn't matter what he asked for. If he asked for the wrong thing, as a professional, we're going to guide him to the right loan for the job with that graph. And apparently, in multi-million dollar circles, they do the same thing. They ask for the wrong loan. Other than that, I loved it. You're doing fantastic work.
Good. Let me set up this next one.
Anyone else have any comment? I can't be the only one
Yes.
that
Yeah,
someone's going
yeah,
to.
I have a comment. The background music, as you were saying, was kind of drowned it out. The presentation somewhat.
Good. That's good. Good to know. We can fix those kind of things pretty easily. So we can do that. Now, if anybody else has any other comments as well, don't hesitate just to drop us an email or give me a call. We'll need whatever feedback we can get, and we'll try to polish it off and kind of have it in its final version, and then run with it. But the whole purpose here is, of course, to give our clients or prospective clients a good idea who the heck we are and what we do. This next video takes it a step further and goes through our typical funding process. You'll be able to see step by step from their perspective what they can expect and what's going to happen with them. And this one should kind of follow the information and the guidance that they've already got in the first video. So these would be shown one right after the next. This one's called our funding process.
This is Sarah, and I would like
I'll forewarn you that the video sound is probably going to be the same complaint, but let's go ahead and see it. We'll fix it later.
to present Easy Financial's funding process. Take notes if you like, or pause or replay a portion should you need to hear something again. Let's start with a roadmap to give you an overview of how our funding process works. There are essentially 3 major phases involved. Phase 1 starts with a thorough review of a potential borrower's credit profile and a look at their estimated income. This phase concludes with the issuance of a pre-approval letter with a good faith estimate of how much we could raise for you and what the rates and terms might be. Phase 2 is mostly devoted to matching you and your project to specific lenders most likely to want to see it. Once identified, our underwriter will gather the information and exhibits needed and will put together a funding package that will make the best impression on your behalf. At the end of Phase 2, the underwriter will present it to the lender for final review. Finally, Phase 3 includes the lender's review and approval process, followed by the lender's first direct contact with the borrower. The lender will confirm the identity of the applicant and review the offer and stipulations involved. Then the parties will schedule and then conduct the closing and arrange for the funding to take place. In broad strokes, that's our overview of the entire 3 phases of our funding process. Now let's take a closer look at each phase. As we have said, Phase 1 starts with a thorough review of the credit profile and income picture. Very few people have perfect credit, so if there are issues that need to be addressed, we give the borrower the chance to pause the process to ensure that together we can improve the credit profile in order to optimize the funding solution. Once the credit profile is at its best, the processor will review the file and issue a pre-approval letter. The borrower is presented with the most likely amount, terms and stipulations, and an explanation of the next steps. This is when we present our proposed fee agreement, go over the document in detail, and answer any questions. If you would like to proceed, we will ask you to sign our fee agreement. Then the file is sent to our underwriter so she can prepare the funding request for the lender. During Phase 2, our underwriter is busy assembling exhibits, going over all the details and preparing a funding request that matches precisely the criteria and standards of the specific lender or lenders who will receive it. If there are documents and exhibits, usually pertaining to the business records or real estate, they will be requested and included. Things like financial statements, real estate appraisals, and more. Most unsecured transactions are virtually no doc, in other words, with little or no additional documents required. But real estate transactions can be quite involved. Again, Phase 3 is mostly focused on the lender's review and offer, followed by a timely closing and funding. This phase can actually be accomplished rather quickly. Lenders are not in the habit of having funding requests sit around, and once a final commitment is made, there is seldom any reason not to move forward immediately to funding. While our underwriter and staff are closely monitoring the process and assisting you and the lender as needed, the phase is mostly concerned with you and the lender moving to an expeditious closing and immediate funding. Let's take a moment to review the time frame involved. After all, everyone wants to know, how long is this going to take and when can I have my money? The truth is that the work we do is actually done pretty quickly and doesn't take long at all, oftentimes within a few days. Some real estate transactions can take more time, but we get timely responses from the processors and lenders in just a few days as well. The timeliness of most projects is usually dependent on how fast we get information and documents from you. Quick turnarounds can expedite most any project. Pre-approval review and approval letters can be generated in as few as 1 to 3 days. Lenders respond to a properly prepared funding request in just a few days, or as much as a week or so even on the most complex case. Most of our lenders are prepared to fund in as little as a day to no more than a week or so. As a general rule, the most time-consuming part is waiting for the postal service to deliver credit cards through the mail, usually up to 10 days. Now let's take a look at some of the documents involved in the funding process. From all borrowers, we need complete 3-bureau credit reports from an acceptable source, a completed and signed application fully filled out, and photos of their driver's license, front and back. If the borrower is a business, we also need a copy of the company's organizational documents from their Secretary of State, in which the company was formed, and a copy of both pages of the IRS letter awarding their EIN. In order to generate the pre-approval letter, the credit manager will assemble the file and transmit it to the underwriter. The underwriter will review it and upload the file to the loan processor, who will review it and match its contents to the criteria supplied by our targeted lenders. After reviewing the file, the loan processor will then prepare the pre-approval letter. Both the underwriter and the loan processor will weigh the representations and exhibits of the project against the targeted lender's criteria and preliminary standards. The loan processor will then issue the pre-approval letter based on the representations in hand. The loan processor will schedule a video conference with the client, the affiliate, the underwriter, and a member of management. On the right is a copy of an actual pre-approval letter issued this summer for one of our clients. Naturally, we have obscured any reference to our client to protect their privacy. The letter is, of course, addressed to the applicant. It reads, "Our firm's intention is to acquire an aggregate business credit card funding total ranging from $150,000 to $200,000. This is noted as business and personal combined, or $75,000 to $100,000 if for the business only. After presenting the aggregate funding ranges, the borrower can expect if any stipulations are needed, they are noted here. In this case, the stipulations noted are routine and nothing of concern is listed. Note that the borrower is cautioned not to open any new accounts or make any new inquiries for new accounts while this letter is in effect. Finally, note that this particular letter was dated the 16th of August and the offer expires on the 31st. Included with the pre-approval letter is a copy of our fee agreement, a copy of the application if needed, and a limited power of attorney that will allow us to move the file forward with the lender. Most importantly, the loan processor will review all documents in detail and will ensure that the client is fully informed and has all their questions answered. The client is free to take a few days to review the documents, consider them, and even consult with their advisors before moving forward. Should you wish to move forward, you will be asked to execute the documents and return them to us. Once received, you will be informed of the lender name and any other information we can offer at this stage. As we have already said, once the underwriter is given the go-ahead, they will diligently proceed to assemble the exhibits, seek whatever information needed, and to build the funding request package for the lender. By way of clarification, the pre-approval letter is largely based on the representations made by the client. The final approval given by the lender will be largely based on the stipulation documents presented and a final hard pull of the borrower's credit report to ensure that nothing has changed since the original soft pull at the start of the funding process. Once the lender is introduced to you, the client will receive the specific amounts, terms, and stipulations required by the lender. Once again, it's decision time. You have your final opportunity to accept or reject the offer. As we have said from the beginning, you don't owe anything unless and until you have closed and the transaction and have received your funding. Well, that's the long and short of our funding process. Thank you for hearing us out. If you have any questions or want to go over anything again, please feel free to contact us or simply go back over the video again.
Right, got a question.
I know you're going to lower that sound. Okay. The advisory board program that we're working with the franchises is a great concept, and in this it talked a little bit about something that would almost resemble the advisory board, and that is to go over the credit report. Now, I think that we have two people who are really professionals at going over the credit, and that is Gail and Alma. So I'm going to make a suggestion here. It's only a suggestion that we're when we're going through the process, one of the things we ought to do is schedule an appointment with the client and with either Gail or Alma, whoever is available, and go over the credit report with the people, and just point out the potential pitfalls. It's much better to spend an extra 30 days and getting the credit report where it needs to be before we place the application than it is to put the application in and then have to play catch up and get something fixed after the application is either presented with a stipulation, they call that a stip, or like those two stips that you saw on the report, or it's just better not to have those visible. It just makes for a, a more robust response from the funding sources. You get more money faster, and it makes the lending sources more comfortable about doing the deal with you. And I know that we are customer oriented, but in this particular case, we have to be lender oriented because the more comfortable the lender is, the more likelihood the loan is going to go through. That's number one. And the more likelihood you're going to get a very large number so you can um, achieve whatever goal that it is that you wanted to achieve. Aside from that, again, outstanding work. Outstanding. Thank you.
So the question I would pose to you as a group, do you think that any potential client who sits through these two videos, if they could hear them properly, do you think that prospect would get a pretty good orientation to what we do and how they're going to go through the process and what's going to be done, what's in store for them? Would these two videos taken together give them really good basis for understanding what we do and how we go forward? Anybody? Jim, what do you think?
Looks good. Really good.
Unmute yourself and shout out your answer. He's asking a question.
I'll buy that.
Perfecto.
I think it looks
Yes,
good.
definitely.
Thank you, Herman.
I think it
Okay.
looks good as well.
Good. Appreciate it, Clarence.
I'll buy that.
It's it's a great video. Great video.
Super. Appreciate it, Gail. Well, thank you guys. And to all as they used to
Oh
say,
yeah.
and to all the ships at sea, all the people who will see this later and understand what we're doing. We will put some refining touches on it. If you have any other comments, no matter how small or how big, email or give me a call, and we'll edit it and make them as perfect as we can get them. Once we have those, we'll put them in your hands, and hopefully you'll be able to use them to good effect. And I think the value of something like this is that there's one source for the message, and the message will always be the same because it's a recorded message, and there won't be any confusion. When people are trying to describe somebody else's situation, trying to describe the process, sometimes we can get inventive, sometimes may say the wrong things, and it's just a natural tendency just to try to remember it from memory and then try to say it, in a productive way, invariably it's pretty easy to kind of flub and to say quite the wrong thing, and you need a kind of a common language, a common presentation that always says it the same way. Frank, I know you have something to say about that.
I will, but I wasn't thinking about anything to say. Actually, I'd have to think something up. You're right.
Yeah.
I agree with you. The only thing that I was thinking while you were saying it is the next step. I play chess, so the next step I was thinking about was we need to put this in a package that could be sent out on social media, for example. Step one, look at this video. Step two, look at that video. Step three, have an automatic um, application like we talked about, name, and then that goes away, and then phone number, then that goes away. And so that it's not a great big long application, but just two or three things they put in three pieces of information and it goes away. And then at the end, we'd have a completely filled out application, everything we need to actually pick up the phone and know whether we have a client or a tire kicker. So that was my thinking, that this is fantastic material, and it could someday shortly be um, on a landing page that could actually fill out the application for us. And when we pick up the phone or when they make their appointment on the calendar, we know we have a real person who's really interested in moving forward. That's what I was thinking.
Well, I think it's the way to go. It would also be great if we could kind of customize this to the individual affiliates so that they're kind of involved in it from the get-go. And it's their client. Their client knows their name and can get in touch with them and take them by the hand, so to speak, and take them through that process. We need to kind of customize it so that they're there from the beginning and all the way through. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. On that last phase of the application that I was talking about, they would have an embedded number. Each person would have either their name or an embedded number. And if they do what I asked in the beginning of the presentation, if they promote on social media, and when somebody filled out that application, it would automatically go to their calendar. It would automatically go to their phone number. And so when um, it would be up to them to do the follow up. So you can't say, gee, I don't have no leads. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. If you post every day to social media, to at least three or four different social medias, yeah, you'll have all the leads you could stand.
A few weeks ago we were talking about Alignable and what a great networking tool that is. Ron Williams invited me to join Alignable through his contacts in Dallas. So I did that. And now I'm associated in Northwest Arkansas because of that. And suddenly I've already been notified from Northwest Arkansas that I've got, I think, something like 2,600 contacts that have seen my
Awesome.
profile and are interested. So it's a terrific way to go, and you'll probably be hearing more and more success stories from all the people. Alma got me connected with me through Alignable and several other people too. So it's terrific. Just as a personal testimony. I
I
don't
have
know
a
what
question.
600 contacts, but I guess we'll take it as we can.
Yeah,
Yes,
I have a question.
yes, sir.
Um, Looking here, our big three, the first one that says unsecured business funding. Could someone clarify a little bit more about that word unsecure? business funding.
Yes. Uh, we're working on some additional material. We've already had some that we presented, but the key the key focus by people in the finance business when they look at business credit for businesses, especially, it's either, and this is true for banks, with even customers just off the street, it's either secured or it's not secured. And what we mean by that is that an unsecured business loan, either from a bank or from a finance company, means that there is money being loaned to a business based on its strength or whatever other criteria they're looking for, but there are no assets that are secured to it. Let me get Herman back in. In other words, there's no collateral. They don't put a
Oh,
UCC filing or anything else on like hard assets of the business. There's no real estate attached, or there's nothing else like
okay.
business inventory or what have you. It's simply unsecured. It's just a
I
loan.
got it. I got it. I hear you. Okay. I see.
And that's true in personal lending as well. The differentiation between unsecured and secured is nearly always there. It's not always stated, but that's certainly the categories that all lenders anywhere will kind of use to start with.
Okay, so I guess to kind of simplify what we're both talking about here at the moment, when you say unsecured business, that's technically saying that there's nothing tangible securing that loan.
That's correct.
Okay,
That
I
Like
got it. I got it. Like a
like
B.
like like for example, your Goldwing, the loan on your Goldwing motorcycle
Uh-huh.
is secured by your Goldwing.
Right.
The loan on your house is secured by your house.
Right.
The loan on your car is secured by your
I
car.
got it. Yeah.
The loan on the equipment to run your business is secured by the equipment. Unsecured is secured by nothing,
I
by
got it.
nothing. It's unsecured.
How about that? End of
I've
story.
never heard of "un" before, but I guess that makes perfectly good sense.
All right.
Anyway, we've got
Self-explanatory.
yeah, we've got the video that many of you have seen about our big five. We've been thinking recently that maybe we ought to kind of zero in on the real big three and kind of keep it simple. Whether we do that or not, it is a fact that most of the inquiries coming to us these days fall into these three categories: unsecured business funding, buy, fix, or flip or hold real estate transactions for flippers, or franchise sales referrals. Uh, you can make money off of any one of these three. The system's there, the process is there. Uh, I guess unsecured business funding is the one of the most common because it's actually a pretty simple process. Most people don't really understand it or don't really know it very well. We're a business lender first and foremost. We are a commercial lender that focuses on businesses, whether they're a real estate investor or a retail business or a wholesale business or a franchise investor who's about to invest in a franchise. We don't operate in the consumer space. We can sometimes cross over, through affiliates and trusted advisors and so forth, but we are primarily focused on business, commercial. There are all sorts of other regulations and requirements required if we take a real focus on the consumer space. We don't do that. The banks, all kinds of other mortgage companies and so forth that deal in the consumer space take care of that. We work with businesses. And there is a process, and it's called unsecured business funding, UBF, whereby a business person, an investor, somebody who's wanting a business, can either use their existing business or form a new business. And the ideal way is to just form a new LLC in your local state registered in your state where you live. You'll get the process in a few days. It generates a document, a certificate from the state when you register through the Secretary of State's office. You will then, after you do that, you'll go to the IRS website and apply for an EIN, an employer identification number from the IRS, and that's required. Once you do, and it's free, by the way. Once you do that from the IRS, you've got in one hand, you've got your LLC document establishing your business, and you've got your letter from the IRS saying, hey, this is your EIN that's been assigned to you. You have those two things in your left hand. In your right hand, you fill out an application. Sometimes you don't even have to do that, but you have your credit bureau report for you personally, because the business doesn't really have any credit yet. The lenders will review your personal credit report to see what kind of person is behind the business. They won't do anything but maybe a soft pull at the most. It doesn't show up on your credit bureau. And they will make a decision. This person is a solid citizen. We're ready to go ahead and loan him some money, a reasonable amount of money for his new business. Once you do that, you can get funded anywhere from $10,000 or $20,000 to as much as $75,000, depending on your credit standing and your estimated income personally. The money is then loaned to the business, not to you personally, but to the business. And that's the first step that you're taking to actually build a credit basis, a credit profile for your business. You get funded, you've got that money, you can use it for whatever purpose, but hopefully in the business, and you move forward. So it's a pretty easy way to go. Frank, you got to comment, I'm sure.
Um, and that's called Paydex. The business credit is Paydex. Personal credit is FICO. Almost everybody knows what their FICO score is, or they know about FICO, but very few people in the world know about Paydex. But Paydex and FICO are kissing cousins. The only difference is Paydex doesn't look at FICO and FICO doesn't look at Paydex. So when you're doing this, what Richard is talking about is 100% accurate. But while you're doing this, you might have a question. How are they looking at my personal credit report and then issuing me a business account and it doesn't report to my personal credit? It's because you're establishing a Paydex account. And so when your business establishes the Paydex account, they literally did not lend the money to you. So therefore, it's not going to show on your FICO. They literally lent the money to your business, and it will show on the business's Paydex, but that will not affect your FICO in any way. He did a great job of explaining. Oh, Ron Williams is better late than never. Okay, that's it. That's all I had to say about that.
You think about this, and it looks and sounds and is a terrific solution for people forming a startup. Startups don't have a hope of getting a dime from their local banks and from a lot of lending institutions because they have no history. I don't know if you realize it, but bank examiners who govern the banking business go into banks routinely and they look through the loan portfolio. And if they see a loan that is a non-conforming loan that doesn't have any collateral to it, doesn't have established banking history, doesn't have, for example, financial statements and the strength of financial statements for the existing business, they're going to write it down. They're going to say, hey, you cannot include this in your list of loans for other purposes, for lending and putting out money and so forth. It doesn't count. You can't do that. And they'll write it down to zero. That's the value that the government places on a loan that's non-conforming and doesn't have any collateral or any financial basis to make that loan. Despite the fact that you may have made the loan on good intentions and good reputation and all those other things. So banks aren't eager at all, and it's a penalty to them to actually loan out money that a bank examiner next month is going to come in and say, "Hey, this is worthless. There's no value here." So that's why, most startup funding has to be done away from banks. And that's why when you walk into a bank and say, "I want to borrow some money for a new business venture," they may loan it to you, but it's going to be loaned to you personally, just like any credit card account.
Yeah, but
They
in most cases, I mean the big most cases, might have been on first name basis with the bank vice president. But when you say I want to start a new business, he says come back in 2 years. Don't let the front door hit you on the way out, because they're not gonna. And like you've got to really, really be a high net worth individual to get a a new business loan, even from somebody that you've been doing business with for the last 10, 20 years. I mean, that's just a matter of fact.
Well, it's the old adage, that used to be very common in the banking business. In order to borrow money, you have to have money. I mean, how many times have you heard that, Frank, over the last decades or so? I mean, it's just that's the way the banking business works.
If you need money, you can't have it. But if you got money, how much you want to borrow?
They take
Yeah,
no risk,
that's right. That's right.
none.
If you can't afford the repairs on your Rolls Royce, then you can't afford your Rolls Royce.
Amen.
For those of you driving the Rolls, I want to make it relevant for you. The second
I,
major category.
I drive a Rolls. It rolls down one hill, can hardly make it up the other hill.
Yeah, well, that's a Canardly.
A Rolls can hardly.
Yeah. The second major category that we get a lot of interest in is buy, fix, flip, or hold. Uh, there are a lot of flippers out there. You're all aware of just how popular all the home show networks, whatever, the Home and Garden Network, all those other things are showing all these television programs highlighting this, photogenic couple or that one buying a house that's run down, fixing it up and flipping it, making money doing it. Great. We'll come back to that one in a second. And finally, the third big category, we're getting a lot of people interested in starting new businesses, and what they ought to be thinking about is buying a franchise. There's so many good reasons for them to take the safer route. Most startup businesses don't last, 5 years. They're mostly gone. A few survive, maybe 10% survive, but over the space of 5 years, new franchise purchase, a new franchise business has about a 90% chance of still being in business. You can't ignore that kind of metric. But let's go back to these because we still have, Frank, you got a statement.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Before you do, you said most new businesses may not last 5 years. The SBA, Small Business Administration, has determined that most small businesses will die within the first 2 years. That's why the banker and everybody else you talk to says, um, come back in 2 years and don't let the door hit you on the butt on the way out, because they know if they give you a loan, like a 36-month loan, and you're probably not going to make it past 2 years, no matter how good your business idea, no matter how wonderful you made the world's greatest mousetrap, more than likely it's not going to last more than 2 years. That is an absolute fact. And the franchises, on the other hand, almost every one of them is still going 10 or 15 years later. That's the reason why he Richard said a very important thing. The safe choice is not to go it alone, but the safe choice is to have all the procedures, all the systems, everything in place, all the mistakes that you would have made that might have killed you. They've already made those mistakes and corrected them. The safe choice is to go with a franchise. And last, but I got something else to say about the buy, fix, and flip, but I'll wait till you get back to it. The franchises, going back to the franchises. Um, oh, I'll lower my hand. Okay. Uh, Back to the franchises. Come on, Frank. Somebody interrupted my chain of thought. Franchises will be around for a long time, and that's all I had to say about that. That's it. Go on to the buy, fix, and flip.
Buy, fix, and flip is an interesting one. It's got a lot of attraction for a lot of people, and there are a number of reasons for that, but not the least of which is that most American homes in the marketplace, the ones that are existing, have been around for a few decades. Uh, there's a real benefit to upgrading them from a technology point of view. Not only just technology, but building products and building surfaces and fixtures and all those other things. But there's a lot of natural tendency that most residences in the United States will be upgraded over the course of the next few decades from a decidedly mid-century type of technology to the new technology, building surfaces and materials that are available now. That's the natural trend. Beyond that, anytime anybody starts talking about real estate, what's going on in real estate, prices and availability and all that other stuff, uh, you can do it on two levels. One, you can take the high level approach and try to summarize it for the entire country. And most pundits on TV will take that approach. They will say, well, the United States is, got a shortage of housing, or they got this, or they got that nationally. The fact is, real estate is really a local market. Whatever's happening where the market is in your neighborhood, in that city, your local city, in that part of the country, that state, whatever. It's a local market primarily. And if we said something like, well, the average price of homes is $700,000 across the country. Well, that's not quite true. It's certainly not true where I live. It may not be true where you live. Uh, there are difficulties aplenty in the marketing in the housing market in the United States right now, and there are a lot of different ways to look at it. But it's clear that the real estate market is in a huge transition. It is transitioning big time. And next week, when the interest rates decline, if they and that 90% of the people around are saying that's going to happen, it'll be bigger changes. So I mean, it comes and it goes. It cycles. It's never completely dead. Everybody needs housing. Everybody's looking for a place to, call their own. But the fact is that right now it's a very fluid market. It's also kind of a scary market. If you wanted to do a flip, you wanted to go out and find a house to buy, something kind of in your neighborhood or where you're comfortable, and say, hey, I want to buy this. I can improve it. I can sell it for more than it's worth, more than I paid for it. Maybe hold it, leave it as income producing property. You could do that. You've got to be very, very cautious. Frank?
And so the one thing that I wanted to say about both buy, fix, and flip plus hold and franchise is we are in a post-COVID environment right now, and post-COVID means that a lot of people during the COVID lost their job, and they cannot replace a $50,000 or $150,000 salary with a job or with a job at their age and at their experience level. They cannot replace that 50 to 80,000, $100,000 job. But with a franchise, they can get into 200 and 300,000. That's the another reason why franchises is good because of COVID. Now, because of COVID, the buy, fix, and flip market is phenomenal now. It is becoming a buyer's market now, and it's going to get even more of a buyer's market because there are so many people. Again, same story. They lost their jobs during COVID, and their company never came back, and they were living through a forbearance agreement. A real quick story of forbearance agreement is you've defaulted on your loan. You promise to make it up. They take the 1 year or 2 years that you messed up because of COVID, and they tack it on the back end of your loan. The problem is most people cannot make it up. When you've missed that many payments, your interest is going to choke you and you cannot. So consequently, all of these forbearance agreements are coming to an end, which means there is another second wave of tsunami, a second tsunami of foreclosures on the horizon. When these foreclosures hit, it's a horrible thing for those people, and Easy Financial has a solution to help those people. But for the people who are there, who are ready to buy, fix, and flip that home, um, it is it is a windfall for them. There are going to be, and there are right now, currently, more vacant homes that are owned by the bank than you could possibly buy. There are those homes all over the country right now, currently, because of COVID, and they're going to perhaps double or maybe triple the quantity of them. So the benefit to Easy Financial, we want to help those people that lost their home, and we'll talk about that in another tape. But we also want to make it easy for the people who are the buy, fix, and flippers to acquire that property. And we're the only ones that have the 125% buy, fix, and flip program. So that makes us the only competition out there. Now, it's not to say that there aren't other people that are funding those deals. They are. They're all over the place. But nobody is doing 125%, giving them the working capital up front, giving them the acquisition capital to buy the property, giving them 100% of the rehab funding. That is unbelievable. And you guys are in control of that. It's 125% buy, fix, and flip or hold. That's it. We're at the end of the hour, and you know I always like to respect everybody's time. So go ahead, Richard, wrap it up so we can give us the final statement that we said we agreed we were going to make.
Well, that's it for me. You'll hear more about this, and we will be working on videos specifically focused on those three big things and working in the scenario that addresses specifically. And it's not just from COVID, but how many tens or even hundreds of thousands of people are leaving government. And the government's about to go through a huge transition over the course of the next decade or so. There's so many state governments that are so bloated and overloaded. You're going to see a mass reduction in the number of civil servants across the country, not just federally, but across the country over the next few decades. States and municipalities and so forth are literally busting their budgets. They can't afford it. So in any event, we'll kind of begin to focus on those prospects and develop that as best we can. Anyway, take it away, Frank.
Okay, so at the end of every meeting, I'm going to tell you that I spend a couple of hours putting together a replay, and the replay isn't for my exercise, it's for you. So what we do is we're going to put together this exact replay. We're going to have an explanation of this, and we're going to upload it to YouTube video. What you need to be doing is you need to go check out the replay on YouTube video. You need to promote that on all your social media sites. And when you get on YouTube, you need to hit the like button, you need to subscribe, and you need to share. So like, share, and subscribe, and click on the bell icon. When you click on that bell icon, you'll never miss one of our replays. Why do you want the replay? You sat through this, you heard it. Well, the reason you want the replay is because you want to forward it to everybody in your social media background. I send it out to LinkedIn, to Facebook, to X, to Tumblr, and to Reddit, and a few others. I do that, and I've got 5,000 followers. You need to be sending it out to your followers as well, because when they see what we're doing, they're going to want to get involved. And many people complain, I don't have any leads, I don't know who to talk to. Well, every single week we tell you who you can talk to. I was at this great big convention, this boot camp this week, and one of the things they said is, who's heard knowledge is power? And everybody raised their hand, including me. And he said, they're wrong. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge with action is power. You got to take action. It's not enough to know something, but you got to do something about what you know. So take the action, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Oh, by the way, when you go to the YouTube channel and you subscribe to it, you can pull it up, and there's a list of all of the webinars that we've done for the last several months in a row, and you can learn or replay any of those webinars and pick up things that you may have missed or you maybe don't quite understand. You can go back and play one of the replays, and it'll help you. But while you're watching it, click on the like, share, and subscribe button and forward it to everybody that you know. And with that, I'm finished. God bless. Thank you all for showing up. We appreciate you. It's Frank signing off. Have a great rest of your day. Oh, and have a great weekend. God bless.